Hi, this is Jason.
And Katrina,
We're here with RoofSnap.
looking to answer some frequently asked questions here on an iPhone 7.
Yeah, this little guy here, which actually isn't quite so little. Quite a large screen on the iPhone 7, which does make it really nice for using RoofSnap. We kind of left off with having finished drawing and labeling up all of our lines for this house. So what's the next question here, Katrina?
So the next question is regarding pitch. How can I get a sense of pitch? And then, of course, put pitch on my roof so that the app can calculate those measurements accurately.
Sure. So for any of you who have played with our new Android version, you know that we're still building out features, but on iOS we're very full featured. Gauging pitch with much more accuracy is possible given the existence of certain available imagery here on iOS. Down here in the bottom right, which I'm going to move the map over so it's a little easier to see those icons, you have two. This one here, which looks like a little map, and this one here, which looks like a little man with a circle around his feet. Let's start with the little man. For those of you who are familiar with Google, you know what that means. When we tap on it, it's Google Street View. And we actually are pointed on the correct side of the road. Move the arrow down. We've got a nice straight view of the house. We'll kind of zoom in a little bit, put it here in the center. And I want you to see this little icon here in the upper left-hand corner. This is a little protractor icon, and when we tap on it, it's going to open up this nice pitch card, which we can zoom and move around. And the goal here is to place the correct pitch value right on the rakes of this street-facing gable. And so 712, not a perfect lineup, but 612 is a little shy. It's probably something like a 6.5 or a 7, and of course, we would want to round up to 7.
Sure.
So that's how you can get street-facing gables, pitch from street-facing gables here in Google Street View. Now, not every single address will have Google Street View. You'll tap on that and nothing will load. And that's just the limitation of the imagery. But Google Street View is prevalent, so you will likely find it most of the time. Now, the other button that we have here, this is, of course, if I move the map over again, you can see that little map icon down here. We tap on that. And this is going to open up Apple's imagery. And sometimes Apple's imagery is very flat from the top-down view, very low resolution. But in many cases, especially in urban areas and in and around metropolitan areas, you're going to have this really cool 3D imagery, which you can zoom around. And I'm using 2 fingers just to kind of pan around the house, seeing from all sides. And let's just start where we left off on that front-facing gable. Now, if I take 2 fingers at the same time and slide them up and down on the screen, you'll see how I can change from overhead view to more of a bird's eye angle.
Nice.
Once I'm all the way down in the screen, then I'm going to straighten the roof right up so that my up and down line, my vertical line, is right on the ridge. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but get it as close as you can see it, and then press the magnifying button in the upper left-hand corner. You'll see how our vertical line is nice and straight on the ridge, and we've put the crosshairs very close to the top of the gable.
Perfect.
Now we have the same icon, this protractor-looking icon. We'll tap on that, and it's going to open up a slightly different version of the same pitch card. This one can be moved around, and this one is looking like it's definitely a 7. If we move it down to the 6, it just doesn't seem to line up very well. The 7 looks pretty good. And if we move up the 8, that's obviously, it's not that steep. We can rotate the image now, though, and the benefit of this Apple imagery is the ability to get pitch from roof slopes that do not face the street. So let's zoom in on this section here. Oh, and you see how I'm crooked? I need to straighten that up a little bit. So let me back out again. And focus right there. I think that's going to be good. Oh, it's worse. 3rd time. That's close enough. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the little protractor icon there. And just bring these down until you find the one that seems to fit. So again, it looks like 7s on both sides. But while we're at this angle, let's move the crosshairs and just come right up here to this upper 2-story section and zoom in on that. Looks like the back is pretty low slope compared to the front. So let's open it up. I'm guessing it's going to be 7 on the left. 7? Or maybe 6. But given that we got a 7 measurement off of the other one, I'm thinking we're still going to go with 7 there.
Yeah.
And on the rear section, well, 4 is the lowest one that we have, and it's even a little less steep than 4. It's got shingles on it, though. So here in Ohio, if it's got shingles on it, it usually is never less than a 3. So I would go ahead and call that a 312.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
And you can always rotate the image around and try to get it one more time from the other side. But I would anticipate similar results. So to back out of this screen, you're just going to tap on the X button here in the upper left-hand corner, and that's going to bring you back out. So what we figured out is we've got 7s. So I'm going to tap here. I'm going to switch to edges again, but then come right back to facets, this button here in the middle. Go ahead and tap on pitch, and let's start with the 312 on the rear. When I have 3 selected, you're going to see it's visible in the sidebar here. We can slide that over and then tap right on the pitch value. Go back in, grab pitch again, change it to 7, close the drawer, and then tap 7 for all of the remaining facets that are 712.
Great.
Now we have pitch. Now one of the things that I want to point out here is let's make that facet in the back 0 again. And zoom in. And I'm reading 15.8 feet on the rake. But I want you to notice how important it is for you to put in your pitch values. Not only is it going to affect your total square count on the roof, but it's also going to affect the linear measurements of your perimeter. So when we go in, change the pitch, make it a 7, tap on that facet, switch back to draw. Notice that the value has increased from 15 point whatever it was to 18.2.
Okay, so the software is adapting that slope of the roof.
Yep, it knows facets need to be longer, and step walls need to be longer, and hips and valleys both need to be longer. When there is a steeper pitch, it calculates accordingly.
Gotcha.
Which means you're never going to find more accurate measurement capabilities than here in RoofSnap, because you take ownership of your measurements. You set the line lengths, you put in the pitch values, you can confirm everything on site during your inspection, and then ultimately you're going to get the most accurate measurements possible. That being said, now that we have edges labeled, facets, pitch values, the whole works, we can go ahead and hit the done button in the upper right hand corner, save that project, and we'll just leave off here and answer it on our next question. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.